Dog. Today we're going to talk about a cute little Corgi puppy floating around TikTok and NBA Twitter that has become one of the main characters of this postseason. And of course, on top of that, we're going to talk about the Warriors and Lakers series, the Heat and Knicks series, both series now 3-1. And if you would have told me before this round started that both of these series after Game 4 would be 3-1 series, I wouldn't have been that surprised. But I would have been very shocked that these were the two teams up 3-1. Lakers and Warriors, maybe I shouldn't have been that surprised, right? But I kind of thought that this was a coin flip matchup. And, you know, the games have been close outside of games 2 and 3, right? Game 1 and Game 4, they really could have gone either direction. But, man, I'm going to get into the Warriors here in a bit. And Heat Knicks, I don't know what the Knicks just look god-awful. Like, they look completely and totally outmatched by this Heat team, which is kind of shocking to me, and I'll get to that here in a bit. But let's talk about this Corgi, man. This dog on TikTok, Air Korg, who is predicting the NBA playoffs by hitting a ball from the staircase into, I mean, a very talented dog. I got to say, this is one of the most talented dogs going in the playoffs right now. One of the more talented dogs I've seen this postseason, really a playoff riser in a lot of ways. And I looked at its record. I'm assuming it's a he. I don't know though. I don't want to misgender a dog here. I don't know. I went back and I looked at its first round record. Wasn't too great, right? They picked the Cavs to beat the Knicks in 5. They picked the Bucks to beat the Heat in 4. But you know, most people did that. Most people picked that. In the second round, Air Korg has picked the 76ers in 7, the Heat in 6, the Suns in 6. And the Warriors in 7. These are all possibilities that could very seriously happen. And the reason why Air Korg is getting talked about so much on Twitter now is because it has predicted the Lakers and Warriors series 100% accurately so far up until this point. They had the Lakers winning Game 1, the Warriors winning Game 2, the Lakers winning the next 2 games, and then the Warriors mounting a 3-1 series comeback to win the series, right? So this is what Warriors fans are all now resting their hopes on. And it's been a nice little moment for NBA Twitter, right? We've all come together to laugh at this cute little dog who's trying to predict the NBA playoffs, right? It's a fun thing. We're all having fun. And then you dive a little bit deeper into the comments and you see, oh my God, we should murder this dog and sacrifice it to the basketball gods. And then you remember, oh yeah, that's right. I am on the worst place on the planet, NBA Twitter. And man, I don't want to bet against the Warriors. I really hate doing it. I picked them to win this series in 6, but I would be shocked. I would be utterly shocked if they came back down 3-1 in this series. You guys know I'm a big believer in vibes. It's like the most base level analysis you could possibly give, but I think vibes tells you a lot. It tells you the direction of a team. It tells you how the team feels about themselves. And a lot of times, if the vibes surrounding a team are bad, things are going to go bad. You have some rare exceptions to that rule, but more often than not, if a team's vibes are bad, they're going to be disappointing. They're going to be bad one way or another. And the vibes around this Warriors team right now are terrible. Like Jordan Poole, the locker room is tense following the end of the game. Jordan Poole is short with the media questions. You had reports last series against the Kings that Jordan Poole and Jonathan Kuminga were upset with their minutes. These are not vibes I want from a team that's trying to come back down 3-1 in a playoff series after 2 pretty heartbreaking losses. Not to say it's impossible, though. You know, obviously, a team coming back down 3-1 is a very rare occurrence throughout NBA postseason history. But, you know, with the variance, with shooting variance and just the sheer talent around the league now, it feels like it happens more frequently than it used to in the past. Like in the last 8 seasons, it's happened 5 times total, which, you know, is still not a huge number or anything, but that's not like totally unheard of. And if any team could do it, you would like to think this Warriors team could do it, but I don't think this team has it in them. I just really don't. Like, I think maybe it's time we accept the Warriors for who they've shown us to be this whole season, which is this very weirdly discombobulated team that does not look like some veteran team that's been to, 6 finals over the last 8 seasons and has won 4 of them. It does not feel like this team at all. I mean, you go back to that series against the Kings, they had moments where it was like, wait, are the Warriors this veteran team that's been there a million times, or is it the Kings? Because there was times where the Warriors felt like this team that was in the playoffs for the first time, they didn't know what the fuck to do with themselves. And again, they felt like that last night. I mean, Steph was great. This is the best Steph Curry's ever been. I said this on a video last week. I still stand by it. His shooting numbers weren't great last night, but I thought he played phenomenal. This is the best Steph's ever been. But then he had that moment down the stretch where he had AD switched on him on an island. This is exactly what you want, right? You could do a million different things from this, and he puts up the 2 most dog shit shots you will ever see. And I don't want to like go too hard on him because I thought he was great last night, and I'm sure his legs were shot. But those are 2 shots in that moment that you got to know you need a better look than that. Like, you have to understand you need a better look than that. Klay Thompson's just throwing up dog shit. I mean, look at Steve Kerr's reaction to one of these shots, man. What's he doing out there? Klay's always taking these dumb shots, but you got to know in these moments down the stretch, those can't be the shots you're taking this early in the shot clock. You can't be taking those shots. Steve Kerr, by the way, very underrated sideline reaction guy. Like, Budenholzer was always great at that. Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers is like the GOAT when it comes to sideline reaction. Steve Kerr, very, very underrated in that regard. But then, like, the role players are just they're non-existent for the Warriors. This is where the Lakers, I'll talk about them here in a bit. The Lakers are just shining this postseason. Their role guys are stepping up to the plate. Warriors, they're nowhere to be found. Jordan Poole has been horrific, terrible. His last 3 games, he's had 11 points combined. Lonnie Walker, fresh off the bench, barely playing at all the last 3 months or so of the season. Lonnie Walker comes in the fourth quarter, scores 15 points in the fourth quarter to carry the Lakers to a win. They were just going to him on offense. They were giving Lonnie Walker the ball and getting the fuck out of the way in the fourth quarter of a huge postseason game in the second round. Meanwhile, Jordan Poole has 11 points combined the last 3 games, and he looks terrible, man. This guy is not good. I've been telling you guys this forever. Don't let what he did against the Dallas Mavericks fool you, okay? That's just playing the Dallas Mavericks, right? That's like a plus 20 attribute boost to every single attribute you have, okay? So that doesn't really count. This guy is just not good. Like, I don't know how else to say it. He's not a very good basketball player, and we've seen this time and time again. And it's time to just believe it. And he's one of these examples here. I've talked about this before on this channel. It makes me so angry, right? Teams, you guys, front offices, you don't have to give these fringe guys, right? These fringe guys who are 1 year away from hitting restricted free agency, you don't have to give them these big contracts 1 year away from restricted free agency. You can do what the Suns did with DeAndre Ayton, and they got a lot of shit for this, but I was supporting them. I thought that this was a smart decision on their part by letting DeAndre Ayton hit restricted free agency. And you know what? If some team wants to pay you $30 million, we'll match it, but we want to see your market. We want to see for ourselves that teams are willing to pay you $30 million a year. And the Pacers said, hey, we'll do it. So the Suns match it. And obviously, Ayton does not deserve anywhere near that money, but for the Suns, what else are you going to do, right? Like, why did you have to give Jordan Poole that contract? I don't get it. I don't get why teams do this. Let these guys, I mean, it makes sense for certain players, right? If you think you're getting legit good value on a contract, it makes sense, right? If you think that, if it's the Lucas, the Shea Gilgeous-Alexanders, the Trey, the Jaws, those guys, yeah, obviously, give them whatever the fuck they want. You get that 5th year that other teams can't give in a offer sheet, right? Yeah, obviously you're going to do that. But these fringe guys, let their market play out. There's no reason to rush to give these guys $30 million a fucking year. This contract hasn't even kicked in yet for Jordan Poole, and it's a fiasco. I've seen Warriors fans say he's got to get traded. Who's going to want him? Who wants him? What team? And it's not like the Warriors are in any position to trade this guy, because in order to trade a player like Jordan Poole, teams are going to want to send out bad contracts back to you. Like, they're not just going to take Jordan Poole's money. They're going to be sending bad contracts your way as well. And the Warriors are in zero position to be taking on bad contracts like that. I mean, just a disaster. And for the Lakers, man, I mean, it's really remarkable what we've seen from them this postseason. It feels like every game somebody else is stepping up. Like Austin Reeves, ever since the game 1 or game 2, whenever that was against Memphis, when he was shouting, I'm him, he's been terrible. That's been well documented. He comes out last night, looks amazing, has a huge night. Lonnie Walker, again, just mentioned, barely plays for months, comes out in the fourth quarter, 15 points out of nowhere, carries them to a win, basically. LeBron James, so far in the series, 23 points a game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Those are fine numbers. Those are good numbers. He's shooting like 20% or something like that from 3. But, all in all, those numbers are fine. But we're talking about the second, maybe the best player of all time, right? So you expect those numbers to be a little bit higher, but I think he sees what's going on. He sees that his role players around him are playing great. They're stepping up to the plate, so he's gonna sit back and let them do whatever they need to do, and whenever he needs to do something, he'll do it. I don't know, man. The Lakers are by far the deepest team in the West, like the remaining, right? And if they close out this series with the Warriors, they get a little bit of a rest, presumably, right? That game 5 is pretty important for them, because I assume they're gonna want some rest, right? They got LeBron, they got AD. The more rest they get, the better. And whoever they go up against in the second round, the Suns or the Nuggets, not very deep teams whatsoever. So you're going to have the opportunity you've had against this Warriors team to let your depth kind of carry you a little bit. I don't know. Like, the Lakers making the finals, it's not crazy. It seems like I wouldn't be surprised right now if you were to go on FanDuel, they were the betting odds right now to win the Western Conference. That would not surprise me. So I don't know what the hell the Warriors do. Like, Wiggins, where are you? Like, Wiggins was, I mean, there were some arguments that Wiggins was like going to win Western Conference Finals MVP last year. And there were some people pushing for him to be like Finals MVP last year because the defense he played on Luka and the defense he played on Tatum and how he stepped up offensively. Where the hell is he? Where is he? You know, I know he missed a lot of time this season because of personal stuff, and I don't know if that's still bothering him or not. I don't want to speculate on that. That's very possible. But man, they really need him to step up, and he's just not really there. Poole's a non-factor. Kuminga's not getting minutes. Looney is just kind of unplayable in the series, and he's been dealing with, you know, some illness, and Gary Payton's dealing with it. And now you have Warriors fans insinuating that there's some type of chemical warfare happening here between the Lakers and the Warriors, and the Lakers are using weapons of mass destruction pretty much in order to sicken the players on the Warriors so they can't step up to the plate. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Things are looking bleak for the Warriors. I would never count them out, but it would shock me greatly if they did come back 3-1 in the series. But if you're the Lakers, you want to close this thing out, preferably next game, but at least by game 6, because I don't want a game 7. I do not want Steph Curry game 7. And for the Knicks and Heat, my God, man, the Knicks just, they've looked terrible this entire series. They were lucky to not be down 3-0 heading into that game last night. Game 2 at home, they got an absurd whistle. No Jimmy Butler. They were very lucky to pull that game out in a game they did not play well whatsoever. But my God, they've just looked so bad the last couple of games, man. Julius Randle, oh my God. I'm gonna quote Draymond when Draymond's talking about Dylan Brooks. The dynasty starts after you, and that sounds very mean, but I don't know how. I can't in my brain figure out where Julius Randle fits on like a winning team, a team that's really, really trying to win and go deep in the postseason. I don't see it. There was this graphic going around Nick's Twitter yesterday. This man, he has compared his playoff shooting percentages compared to literal World War II veterans. These guys played in the 1940s. And that's where Julius Randle's company is. I didn't even know the NBA existed in 1947. Okay? I thought it popped up in like the 50s. Admittedly. Who the hell are these guys? Being on this list is crazy. And you look at his numbers last night, right? 20 points on 8 of 13 shooting. That's fine, right? That's cool. That's way better than his usual, whatever it is, 32% from the field we see in the playoffs. I thought he was awful. I thought he was horrible last night. I'm sorry. 6 turnovers, not good enough. Not going to cut it. 6 personal fouls, fouled out of the game with like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Not good enough. Just wasn't good enough. I thought his defense was horrific. I thought his body language was awful. I just don't know how you win with a guy like this. And I had people in my chat say, oh, he's going to be Aaron Gordon. And I've seen people say this, like, he's going to be an Aaron Gordon on a team. Dude, Aaron Gordon's like a top 10 defender in the NBA. Julius Randle's not getting there, okay? And Aaron Gordon also was never like this involved in an offense. And I don't know if Julius Randle will ever be like, hey, I'm cool with being the fucking 5th guy on offense, and I'll shoot a catch and 3 here and there, or I'll cut here and there, but that's it. Like, I don't see that ever happening. Speaking of dogs, right? We started this video talking about dogs. We're going to end this video talking about dogs. The Miami Heat, top to bottom, this roster, I mean, what the contributions they're getting from their role guys is absolutely incredible. And I really want to talk about Caleb Martin, a player who I've liked all season long. I tweeted something. I went back and looked at my Twitter. I tweeted something in like November where I was like, Caleb Martin would be the blank best player on the Dallas Mavericks. And I was like, I think there's an argument for second best. Obviously, that was before the Kyrie trade. And even then, I think that's, being a little bit too out there. But I've always liked his game. And this postseason, he's been tremendous. He's been great. And this is always one of my favorite parts of the playoffs, seeing which role guys step up, seeing which role guys sort of solidify themselves as a 16-game role player. I'm thinking guys like PJ Tucker, right, who is good and needed in the regular season for sure. But when you get to the playoffs, you can count on that guy to provide you, a positive boost one way or another. And Caleb Martin, so far this postseason, he's been a plus 73 in his minutes, which is the best among bench players by a wide margin. I think it's like nearly 20 points better than number 2, which is Malcolm Brogdon. And it's like 6th across every player in the postseason. So he's been great in his minutes. He stepped up. Last night, he had 3 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter. 3 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter to help propel them to a win, and a nasty dunk. Like Mitchell Robinson has had 4 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter this whole series. And Caleb Martin had 3 last night. He dropped 22 in that game 2 loss to the Knicks. Yeah, they did lose the game, but no Jimmy Butler. They needed somebody to step up. Him, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, they all stepped up in a major way. And again, they lost the game, but they were in a great position to win it. And it was because of those guys. And Kyle Lowry, who's come back from the dead. So I've really enjoyed watching this Heat team. It's funny because we were talking about it, and someone in my chat last night was like, oh man, this Heat team is so fun to watch. I was like, damn, they are. Like this postseason, they've been so fun to watch, but it's hilarious because they were like the worst team in the league to watch the regular season. Their offense was so bad. It was so ugly. Like they would, just scrape by with wins, and it was not very fun to watch whatsoever. And then, yeah, you fast forward to the postseason, and they have been the story, right? They've been the team that everyone's liked watching Jimmy, watching all these guys. Bam was really good last night too. I would be so shocked if the Knicks managed to win 3 straight games here in this series. And I don't know, man. It's there for the Heat. It's legitimately there for the Heat to make a run to the finals, which would be one of the most shocking things in recent memory. So I'll be live tonight for the Sixers and Celtics game on NBA University's Playback channel, and I'll be live here on my YouTube channel for the Nuggets and Suns game number 5, a huge game. All right, so make sure you guys come by. For the rest of the postseason, Eastern Conference games will be on the NBA University's Playback channel. Western Conference games will be here. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.